Well, high-profile meals are increasing speculation over whether Hillary Clinton will take another shot at the presidency. Clinton had a private breakfast yesterday with Vice President Joe Biden. The day before, she had lunch with President Obama at the White House. That meeting was described as a chance to catch up. But now that Clinton met back-to-back with the president and the VP, people can't help but to wonder if something else is up. So joining us from Washington is Glueck, reporter for Politico. Katie, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Just looking at that picture of the president and Hillary Clinton looking like they're old pals there, leaning back and giggling. Let's talk a little bit about this. We know what was on the menu. Sure. I think it was salad and pasta. Do we know what they talked about?
You know, both camps were pretty careful not to reveal too much detail about that. You know, as you said, this was very much described as a meeting between old friends, and you know, but that of course didn't stop, you know, many people in the sort of political chattering class from immediately launching into all kinds of speculation about what they were talking about whether we were looking at a current president and a future president, and you know, so very much kind of fomenting that discussion that we've since seen continue this week.
Yeah, how important do you think it is for a potential presidential candidate to have a face-to-face meeting with the president at the White House, not to mention with cameras, you know, clicking away?
Sure. Well, especially for the two of them, just given their past, you know, they were competitors, of course, in 2008 before serving together in President Obama's administration. And so if former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton were to become her party's nominee, it would, of course, be important for her to be entering into that with the support of the current White House.
Well, Katie, it's been reported that the Ready for Hillary super PAC has already raised $1.2 million. Is that a significant amount? It's hard to tell the way these elections go. The price tags could be pretty high.
That's right. You know, in the grand scheme of things in the world of today's super PACs, it's not necessarily, relatively speaking, the largest, you know, sum that we can even expect to be seen kind of moving forward. But that said, you know, we are, it's 2013 now. We are still very early on in this, and the fact that we do already have this Ready for Hillary super PAC looking to perhaps be chalking up some pretty significant sums given the short time period, I think does indicate that there is certainly a great deal of interest on this issue.
I want to ask you a little bit about the Anthony Weiner scandal unfolding here in New York, and his wife, Huma Abedin, very close to Clinton, was an aide, but more than an aide, a very good friend of the Clinton family. And, you know, people have been drawing comparisons. Huma came forward and said that she supports her husband, that she loves her husband and thinks he would make a great mayor. We know Hillary came forward and did something very similar on behalf of her husband. Do you think this scandal could affect Hillary Clinton in any way?
Well, and that seems to be the big issue of at least the beginning of this week. And we saw right at the beginning of the week reports indicating that, according to some sources, kind of in Clinton world, you know, they were kind of trying to keep their distance from you know, from this kind of unfolding scandal in New York. You know, it's interesting because to kind of assess or to take a look at where the Clintons are on this issue. They're really trying to keep their distance, it seems, just in terms of public commentary with regard to Anthony Weiner. But as you mentioned, it does present kind of an interesting situation then, because Huma has been so close to the Clintons for so long. So it'll be interesting to see if they continue to maintain that kind of dynamic. But so far, it doesn't look like we can really expect them to be weighing in. And Anthony Weiner himself has dismissed kind of some criticism that does seem to come from Clinton world.
Yes, so, indeed. Well, we did sort of hear rumors that Huma Abedin had sat down and had a meal with a Clinton advisor. Who knows what that's all about, right? Everyone's watching closely. So let's talk about, you know, Hillary Clinton. Like the sort of bottom line question is, do you think she's going to run? Any other Democrats looking into possibly running in 2016?
Well, that's the question that all the Democrats who are maybe considering getting into the race would like an answer to. There are a number of them who have sort of privately indicated, or at least through aides, that if Hillary Clinton does decide to run, that they're kind of not going to want to get in the way of that, just because she does, as of now, seem to have that kind of momentum in terms of being able to mount a formidable bid if she wants to. And so, you know, she's certainly kept afloat in public life. you know, she only stepped down as Secretary of State, you know, fairly recently, and this was supposed to be a pretty quiet year for the Clintons. Yeah, we continue to see her, and you know, reports and speculation about her all over the place, and so it'll certainly be interesting to see what she decides. But very much a key factor in determining how that Democratic field ends up shaping out.
Yeah, I think you're right. Katie Glueck, reporter for Politico, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks very much for having me.